guys, today we're going to install these bitchin' Fortune Auto coilovers on Dustin's 240sx project that we're helping him with. Go to his channel and you can see kind of the overview of before and after. We're going to go ahead and do a little bit more detailed stuff here for the throttle channel. So what we have here is actually a really nice coilover, fully adjustable shock body, really nice machine parts, and adjustable camber plates in the front. So follow along. Safety first. Put it down, bud.
We're good.
Oh, did you get it? Okay. Yeah. Perfect. I went ahead and took a measurement from the ground through the center line of the wheel and to the bottom of the wheel arch. It was 24¼ inches. This car is already lowered with springs and shocks, but it gives us a good baseline of where the car sat before we started, so that when we do put the new coilovers on, we can dial it down. I know we're gonna wanna go, I measured the gap, I know we're gonna wanna go roughly 1.5 to 2 inches lower. That's where Dustin wants it, so that he's dragging frame on the ground. So this baseline measurement on all 4 corners allows me to know where we started and where we want to finish. So I suggest doing that when you make any adjustments on your ride height. When you remove these from the box, they are assembled from Fortune Auto. And obviously really clean and nicely put together. What you want to do initially when you get these out of the box is you want to measure the spring. This is a 7-inch spring. Most dampers use a 6 or 7-inch spring. These in particular ones are 7, which is the most common that I've seen. And what we want to do is we want to create preload on these because it helps reduce bind and spring noise when you're driving the car. So if you have a 7-inch spring, for instance, you want to create about 1/4 inch of preload, which will put these at about 6 3/4 in height once it's tightened. Right now you can see we're at 7. So now I'm going to grab the wrenches that were supplied with this awesome kit and move these up, this perch up 1/4 inch. You can see we've got 6 3/4 inches from the top of the spring to the bottom of the spring. That's our 1/4 inch of preload that we needed on this spring so that it doesn't bind or make noise when we're driving the car. And then we'll utilize these, the threaded shock body and the bottom mount, for our height adjustment of the vehicle. So we'll make our measurements from here to probably the bottom of the perch is a good rule of thumb, and make them all match. All right, so this car, we already removed, as you saw in one of the previous videos, we removed all the crap out of here because it was all soaked in oil and we found all kinds of really random shit back here. So anyway, what I did was I already removed these 10mm screws that go into the floor tray here, and already wiggled these loose. So we're gonna pull these inners out. In our case, we're not using them anymore, so rip. What it does is exposes the upper rear strut mount, and it exposes the 14 or 13 mil nuts that hold the top of the strut on. So we'll need to break those free, and then we'll remove the wheel and break the bottoms free, and then we'll be able to put the new strut in. So tag along. And loosen up the top 13mm bolts on the rear. There's 2 on each side. At the bottom is 1 through bolt that goes to the bottom of the eyelet on the shock, 17mm, and we're gonna go ahead and remove that now. Once that's off, the whole strut assembly will drop out of the bottom. A lot of times these are corroded at the spindle down here, and these will be difficult to get off. These ones here, I'm just using a rubber mallet and giving it a little tap, and it's off. So one thing you want to be careful is when you're sliding that off the spindle, you don't damage the threads on the bottom of this carrier, because it's going to make it difficult to put those nuts back on, and I have a feeling that's what happened to the nuts that are on here. So it wasn't that they just cross-threaded them on, it was just that these threads are a little chewed up. So we're going to run a tool over them and get them straightened out, that way when they go back on, they'll be good to go. Okay. So if you're lowering your 240, there's probably a really good chance that you probably have plans to take it to the track or do some sort of drifting or grip racing. When you're doing this coilover install, it's a good time to actually do the upper and lower arms, camber arms and stuff like that, because you have everything apart. It's all right here. It's all easily accessible. We don't have the parts with us at the moment to do this swap, and we'll be doing it down the road, but for today we're not going to address that. But just for future, get your coilovers, get your arms all at the same time, do it all at once. Alright, well, we grabbed the beautiful Fortune Auto rear coilover. We're going to go ahead and slip this one right back in the way the other one came out, so up through the upper arm, and put these nuts on at the top, and then we'll slip the bottom on the spindle. And at that point we can start figuring out ride height and adjustment, and then I'll show you guys how to actually lock these so that they don't come loose.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Disclaimer. I don't condone what we're doing here, but Dustin really wants this car to be super low. So we actually basically have the bottom portion of the coilover bottomed out. Yeah, so this thing's going to be stupid low. It may actually just be sitting on the tire, on the fender. I don't know. I've never actually installed these. I know what type of throw that this actual coilover has. So we're just going to bury it, install it, see how it goes. If it's too low, we'll just pop the nut off and we'll coil it down and raise it up a little bit. But yeah, here goes nothing. All right, so now we're on the front here. Basically, they had a zip tie through the adjustable washers here on the strut. So I've cut that free. We've got these parts just sitting here waiting to make sure that we reinsert these before we install it. What I found really cool is that they've actually slotted the top bolts and also provided like a misalignment plate that you can put in here to actually lay the strut at different angles in here so that you can actually add camber, which is pretty cool. I don't think that we'll actually need it, but we might just do it for the look for now. And then once we get the final wheel and tire set up under the car, we'll change it. But for today, I think we'll play with it a little bit and kind of learn a little bit about the suspension. It's actually a really cool feature. So the way these struts mount, there's two 17 mil nut and bolt on the bottom that hold the strut to the spindle, and there's three 15 millimeter nuts on the top hat that I've already loosened. So we'll go ahead and get these off and then knock this loose from the spindle, and then we'll be able to just undo the top 15s and just drop the thread on the bottom like we did in the back. Alright, there's the Takiko spring and shock.
Just a before and after.
Oh yeah, here.
Absolutely insane.
So we're just going to go ahead and fit this in. Dustin's going to screw on the 15 mil nuts, and then we'll align the bottom from there.
Got it?
Yeah. So there you have it. There's the quick overview of how to install the Fortune Auto coilovers on an S13 chassis. Hopefully you enjoyed that content. Subscribe to us, like this video, and